The story of Egypt is one of rise, decline, and rebirth. After the fall of the Old Kingdom and its age of pyramid builders, Egypt slipped into a troubled era known as the First Intermediate Period. Provinces were divided, famine struck, and the power of the pharaoh weakened. But out of this darkness came a new dawn, the Middle Kingdom of Egypt, circa 2050 to 1710 BCE, often called the Classical Age of Egyptian civilization. It was a time of political stability, cultural rebirth, and innovations that shaped the future of the Nile Valley. The Middle Kingdom began with Mentuhotep II, a powerful king from Thebes. Around 2050 BCE, he defeated rival rulers in northern Egypt and reunited the land under one crown. His victory ended more than a century of chaos and restored the pharaoh's authority. Egyptians celebrated him not only as a divine ruler, but also as a hero who had brought peace back to their fractured world. After Mentuhotep, the 12th dynasty rose to power, founded by Amenemhat I. This dynasty would become the heart of the Middle Kingdom. Pharaohs such as Senusret I and Senusret III expanded Egypt's territory, built mighty fortresses in Nubia, and secured trade routes that filled Egypt with gold, copper, and luxury goods. While the Old Kingdom was famous for its massive stone pyramids, the Middle Kingdom focused on practical architecture and irrigation projects. Pharaohs built smaller pyramids at places like Lisht and Dashur, and though many have eroded with time, they marked an important phase in Egypt's architectural evolution. Even more remarkable was the transformation of the Fayum oasis. Pharaohs ordered the construction of canals, dikes, and reservoirs to control the Nile's waters. This turned the region into fertile farmland, increasing food supply and ensuring stability for generations. The Middle Kingdom proved that Egypt's greatness was not only measured in monuments, but also in how it cared for its people. The Middle Kingdom is often called the literary age of Egypt. For the first time, Egyptian writers produced stories, poems, and wisdom texts that went beyond royal inscriptions. These works give us a glimpse of the hopes and fears of ordinary people. One of the most famous is the tale of Sinuhe, the adventure of a court official who fled Egypt, lived abroad, and eventually returned home to be forgiven by the pharaoh. Other works, such as the instructions of Amenemhat, offered advice on leadership, loyalty, and justice. These writings shaped Egyptian thought for centuries and are still admired today as some of the world's earliest masterpieces of literature. Art also changed during this period. Pharaohs were sometimes shown with more realistic features, heavy eyes, lined faces, and serious expressions. This shift reflected the belief that rulers were human beings with responsibilities, not distant gods untouched by struggle. For farmers, craftsmen, and traders, daily life in the Middle Kingdom still centered around the Nile. But something revolutionary happened in religion. Eternal life was no longer just for kings. In the Old Kingdom, elaborate tombs and pyramid texts ensured the pharaoh's place in the afterlife. During the Middle Kingdom, new spells called the coffin texts appeared, written on the coffins of ordinary Egyptians. These magical writings gave common people the hope of joining Osiris in the afterlife, provided they lived according to Ma'at, truth, justice, and balance. This shift brought religion closer to the people and gave everyone, not just royalty, a sense of belonging in the grand story of eternity. The god Osiris, ruler of the underworld, became the central figure of Middle Kingdom religion. Festivals celebrated his death and rebirth, and people believed that through him, they too could find new life after death. Pharaohs used this belief to strengthen their spiritual connection with the people, ruling not only with authority, but also as guardians of divine order. Pharaohs of the 12th dynasty extended Egypt's reach into Nubia, building impressive fortresses to guard the borders and control trade. Expeditions also reached the Levant and the Mediterranean, where Egypt traded for cedar wood, silver, and exotic animals. These connections enriched the kingdom, but they also opened the door to new cultural influences and, eventually, foreign challenges. After centuries of prosperity, the Middle Kingdom slowly weakened. Later, pharaohs struggled with succession issues, and local governors began to regain power. By the 13th dynasty, Egypt was vulnerable. Into this weakness stepped the Hyksos, a foreign people who introduced new weapons and the horse-drawn chariot. Their rise marked the second intermediate period, when Egypt once again fell into division. Despite its decline, the Middle Kingdom left a lasting legacy. It was a time when Egypt restored unity and opened the gates of the afterlife to its people.